Hi there. We're recording another episode of the Play Up Pompey podcast with myself, Scott Mclachlan, and I've got Jamie and Tim joining me again. Hello, guys. How are you?
Hello.
Evening.
Hello. Yeah, good. Thanks. You?
Yeah, cool. We're doing this on Thursday, 11th of April. So we've had a couple of games to talk about since we last spoke, and also as a few people may have heard, is we went to the 125th anniversary dinner on last Friday. The three of us, and we were lucky enough to meet lots of wonderful people. Alan Knight was at our table. So you still? I mean, it was a really good night. So what was your thoughts, guys? It was really good.
Well, thoroughly enjoyed it, mate. I thought it was brilliant evening. Nice bit of food, but that was almost inconsequential, really, to it. I thought having Alan Knight on our table was amazing. The legend. I think one of the things that sort of struck me was just sort of how approachable and friendly and happy to chat with us everybody was, and obviously we kind of got loads of photos with people and everything. So really, really great to sort of meet so many people and chat to them and sort of ask them questions and hear their memories and of their time playing and how the current season's going.
Yeah, I mean, what more can you add to that? Getting drunk and hanging out with your heroes was just fabulous, wasn't it? It was a really good night. I thought, I just thought that that I don't know if it was Colin that put it on or whoever it was that put it on, but I just thought they did a really good job. It wasn't too. It wasn't too boring, because some of these things can be. It seemed to flow, and the night went really fast, and it was good. Yeah, especially me telling the bouncers not to let John Mousinho in because he's trouble. It was a great way to start the night, and then just went on with smiles from there, didn't it? Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, no, it's everyone spoke really, really well. I mean, obviously, I did a few interviews with people while you lot were going off and getting drunk. So, and you had a lot more selfies with people than I did. I was quite shy with the selfies, but you two are just anyone and everyone you were flashing your teeth in a picture with. So it looked like we all had a good bit of fun. So that preceded Shrewsbury, but obviously the Tuesday night before that was a very important game. I missed it as usual, as I do with most of these important games. You two guys were at the Derby game, which Pompey drew 2-2. I think. Were we fortunate to draw in that game? I think we were under the rack. Obviously, we scored a great equaliser with Kamara, but then obviously they exposed our left hand side again for the second goal in the first half. But yeah, it looked to me. I thought we were a little bit fortunate to get a draw out of that game.
I think Tim's going to disagree with me in a minute, but yeah, I just thought it was just horrible, shitty weather conditions. It was horrible to watch as well. It was, I was drenched and I was in waterproof clothing, and I think it must be difficult for the players to get themselves motivated in that kind of thing. I mean, they played well, tackled well. But for me, the biggest problem was that we were trying to play a passing game in weather like that, and I'm no football genius, but on Football Manager, if you try and play a passing game in weather like that, then you usually get punished. And like a few times we made passes, short passes to people, and they just didn't get there, and so and they were able to nick the ball and capitulate. What's the word? I don't know. Whatever it is.
Capitalise.
That word. Capitalise. Thank you. On our mistakes and. So I think if we'd have hoofed it more, we might have had a bit more luck. But I just think it's difficult to see the brilliance of our squad in weather like that, and the same with them as well. So who was the better team on that? I think it's difficult to say. But we usually play better. Go on then, Tim. Over to you, mate. Go on.
Yeah, I think we fully deserved the draw. To be completely honest with you, I think it's a game that had 4 really good goals in it as well. Like their goals were great, ours were great. I totally agree. I'm probably going to remember the drenching and the weather the most of that evening, though. It was horrendous. I'm sure I've seen games called off for kind of less weather than that as well. I mean, where I sit up in the north stand as well, it seemed like the bit that in front of where I sit was playing like it had been a nice watered ground, very, very zippy and everything. A bit further over towards the south stand, it was the ball was stopping and sploshing about all over the place and everything.
Yeah, I saw that. There was
I
a
was
couple of
getting
times.
nervous as well.
There was
with
a
those
couple of
passes
times
across
when the
back.
ball. Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. That the passes across the back. There was a couple of times early on where we knocked the ball back to Norris, and it held up rather nerve janglingly.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, if someone needs to pass back under pressure, is that ball either going to zip or hold up again earlier on? It's. But the thing is, I don't think Mousinho and the team are ever going to change the way they're going to play. That's the way they play. They want to get the ball down. They want to pass through from the back through midfield and through the lines. Yeah, they go direct to Bishop in certain situations, but you know we pass teams to death, don't we? We knock it about and we look for that opportunity to make the quick break forward, either through the middle or out wide to Lane and Kamara. So the conditions were challenging. From my vantage point, sat in my motorhome watching it on an iPad, it did look very wet. We had a lovely evening up in Birmingham. I don't know where the rain was, but it didn't go north of Oxford. I know that much.
I try not to.
No, well, you know. So it was. I thought we were very fortunate. I mean, that Moxon goal was just an absolute worldie, wasn't it? And you could see if you some of the replays from behind the goal, you could see the ball just moving left and right, and the keeper managed to get a finger on it, but it went in the top corner anyway.
Yeah,
And
we saw a bit of potential. Sorry, Scott.
No, that's right.
So
our equalising goal was just class, and you know, I thought that we would go on to dominate the game then, but we didn't. We didn't put our stamp on it. Derby held firm, got the second goal, and then Moxon comes up with that amazing thunderbolt equaliser. So yeah, I think we were a little bit fortunate, but you know, that seems to be what this team does.
They find a way, don't they? That's the thing about it. They seem to find a way. So I think just going back to this point about the weather and everything, I was admiring us sticking to our principles when it was 0-0, and then exactly hoping we'd hit it long. We were 1-0 down, I think, at that point, and we'd stop doing that.
But the Fratton Park crowd does that all the time, don't they? As soon as we're playing rubbish, as soon as we're not winning games, it's we want two up front, we hit the ball long, all that sort of stuff. You know, people when teams are under pressure, you know, that's what you said. You have to remind them sticking to their principles and not going, well, this isn't working, let's try something different. Well, if you trust it, it does work eventually, and most of the time this season it has.
I think with Moxon as well, we've seen him kind of try to hit one from distance earlier, didn't we? One where I can't remember, it might have been Carlisle, it was former club, but when he kind of flicked one up and then volleyed it from 20 yards and it was tipped over the bar. So hopefully that's the first of some sort of long range screamers we're going to see for him.
I didn't have a clue who Moxon was when we signed him. I'm not going to pretend, you know.
You're not alone there.
Yeah, complete stranger. So first thing I did was get on YouTube and have a look. And I think it's fair to say that those long shot goals are his special move. If you watch, you know, his last goal, I forgot where he come from now. Anyone? Carlisle, thank you. Yeah, he's scored a few of those for Carlisle, and so I hopefully that's not going to be the last of those efforts we see from the Oxman.
No, he's been bought as. I'm not sure whether he would have played as much if we hadn't had Morel injured, and so I think he's been put in far more than Mousinho would probably have liked, which is why he's taken every opportunity to rest him by using Pert Harris, and latterly Evans has made appearances in the last couple of games. I don't think he envisaged when he bought him in January to having to chuck him straight in and give him 90 minutes after 90 minutes. So I think it was one for next season whether we went up or not. But you know he's got 10 games under his belt now and looks far more comfortable.
I can't remember if I said it in a previous podcast, but I see him as a long-term replacement for Pack. He's a similar sort of player. He's got a free kick on him. You know, he isn't afraid of a tackle, and hopefully we'll see some a good 5-10 years out of him.
Well, this is what we were talking earlier, weren't we, about the interviews I did, and this is what Cullen said. If you actually listen to it, Jamie, which I'm hoping you do later. I know you struggle. I know you said you struggle with the audio, but Cullen was very lucid. I know you are. Cullen was very lucid, and one of the points he made is, and I think I made this point a few weeks ago, that I think Pompey's strategy is that they're going to get the young players in, 18, 19, up to maybe 23, like Moxon is. and develop them. These kids have come out of academies and not quite made it. I mean, Zach Swanson, look at his amazing revival again. Since he's come back from injury, he looks like as you said, Jamie, Mousinho said once that 90% of the time, Zach Swanson's our best player, and he just looks like utter quality as well. So I've no doubt that he would be able to step up to Championship, as well as a few others. So. It's exciting. It doesn't look like we would have to completely remodel the team, but I'm sure we'll talk about that after we've actually completed promotion rather than now.
It'd be interesting to see what they do, because I mean the recruitment strategy seems to have always been quite a few months ahead, doesn't it? Sort of 6 months ahead. So, kind of we were recruiting for the last summer, kind of like back in sort of January, February, March time, getting ready for it. And the same when we got to the January transfer window, they didn't sort of just react to what happened. It seemed like they had lots of things planned and in place and everything. So I should imagine there's a lot of exciting plans already going on behind the scenes for next
and we
season.
shouldn't be surprised by that either. That's the way you properly run a football club. Unfortunately, for a very, very long time, Portsmouth Football Club hasn't been run properly. I mean, we did, the guys and people who were in when the fans took over did their utmost and did their best, and amazingly delivered a promotion from League Two. The Isers have done what they needed to do to deliver hopefully a promotion from League One now. But we shouldn't be surprised by clubs planning ahead 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months in their recruitment strategy, rather than getting to a window and going, oh my God, we need a midfielder, oh my God, we need a striker, and throwing money at it, because that's how proper professional football clubs plan and run their business. They look ahead. So yeah, it's good, but we shouldn't be surprised by it, because this is our new reality. This is what Pompey should be. And if we're going to survive in the Championship and take our rightful place as one of the top 10 in the Championship, which is historically how Pompey have always been, then we'll have to recruit really well, and we'll have to basically take in the Swansons and the Moxons and Lanes and everywhere else who haven't quite made it elsewhere, and bring them in, because we see talent there.
Yeah, the infrastructure is good as well. Sorry, Jamie, go on.
No, I was just. It was a quip, really. We could just, we can but hope. Yeah. So just on that, I was just going to say that, so Tim and I got to meet Eric Eisner at the do the other night, and so as you guys both know, I've not always been their biggest fans. And I was just totally honest with Eric. I told him, I said, in fact, I said, at the start of the season, I was one of the people giving you the most shit online. Like, I was furious with you about, what, just the approach to the club, not buying any players, and hiring in the wrong kind of managers. And I said, but the biggest most amount of respect I can ever give anyone is proving me wrong and shutting me up. That to me, that's a man, is when you can say, no, I was wrong. Well done, you've won me over, and they have won me over. And he did say, he asked whether I was one of the people that were pissed off about Mousinho coming into the club, and I said, yeah, I was furious. I was like, and he said, what, going down the cheapskate route? And I said, yeah, absolutely. He said, and he said to me, and he said, we interviewed so many people, and he said, just like, as soon as we spoke to Mousinho, we just knew instantly that he was the man. And when we got to meet him ourselves, he struck me as a bit of a tough boy, to be honest. The sort of guy that he was straight talk. You wouldn't mess with him. I reckon. If you pissed him off, I reckon he'd have a go, sort of thing. He's a bit of a boy, and I can imagine, almost like in the Fergie sense of the way, not as in like a chav. I mean like that. I mean like in he's not going to take any shit from his players, and if they do mess up, he's going to give them the hairdryer treatment. And so
or move them out. These days, managers don't. If you don't fit in, you're out the door. That's the way it's done. Occasionally, if you see something in a player, you might try and get something out of him by being aggressive, or as Redknapp always used to say, people, players always either need an arm around them or they need a boot up the backside, and you have to your management skills work out which one it works. And from the people who've worked with Redknapp, they always say that he managed to basically treat them the way that they wanted to be treated, one way or another. Merson always speaks very highly of him, because when Merson was going through his troubles and he said, I need to go away for 3 days to Ibiza to chill out, Redknapp would go, yeah, fine, go on, off you go.
Yeah.
We don't need you at training. You're Paul Merson. We don't need you to stand around a training ground, because we know you'll do it on a Saturday. So it's obviously head coaches and management's evolving all the time, and I think people like Mr. Redknapp are not really the way to do things these days. The Mourinho's of this world are obviously far more tactical, far more understanding of the game, and far more to get to grips with what they want from each individual player and how they want their team to play. But you still got to send them out onto a pitch with a clear strategy and with that encouragement and that bravado to go and play a game of football, which is, as I keep explaining to my son, football's a horrible game because other people want to kick you up in the air all the time and stop you from getting to the ball. It's not all FIFA. It's not all FC24. It's where you pass the ball and no one tackles you. The people are punching and kicking and gouging you, trying not to get the ball. So you've got people, players who cross the line have got to have a bit about them, haven't they? Anyway, let's move on to Shrewsbury. Well, I was under no doubt we would win that game, because obviously they gave us a scare when they equalised, but I had no worries about it. I was sat there with my arms folded. Right, okay, let's go and score again. And we got a dubious penalty, I think it's fair to say, when Cassini Yengi went down under what was not a very robust challenge. But it was interesting. I suppose the key point of that is that Mourinho tried to play both of them at the same time, which was an interesting point. What did you make of him playing the two strikers rather than rotating?
I thought it was quite exciting to see it, and I think there's probably a lot of fans who've been looking forward to seeing both of them on the pitch together again. But I'm not quite sure it worked as well as we all hoped it would. We didn't seem to kind of. I actually didn't think that was one of our greatest performances of the season, to be honest with you. But again,
I think Yengi had a stinker,
like we were
really.
I never really felt like we were ever going to be in danger of losing it or anything like that. And I always thought we'd end up like with the 3 points in the game. So that just sort of, I guess, shows how confident we are in the team and what a good team we've got at the moment, when you can not play particularly brilliantly and still come away with a 3-1 win and never really look in doubt. But I thought it looked a lot better after Sadie came on, personally. I thought that kind of, he nice little dink through for Colby, wasn't it, to hit that one at the Milton end. So again, not necessarily the best performance of the season, but kind of who cares when you end up with the points at this stage of the season, and look at where we're on the table now going into the last 4 games.
I can understand why John did that. I mean, I was calling for it earlier on in the season when back during our losing streak, our not winning streak. And you can see shades of why I think that. So going back to the Derby game, Colby Bishop's assist was just class, absolutely world class. And so I can see the reason it's not that I think Colby should be a number 10. I just think Colby can be a number 10, whereas I don't think Yengi could be a number 10. And so any time when we are crying out for a number 10 for injuries, I would play Colby at 10 and Yengi at 9, because I just think Colby is just such an intelligent player that he would fit there. Yeah. So that's why I think he did it. But I hear Lang's coming back, so maybe not this weekend. But, yeah.
I think next weekend, hopefully, isn't it? Yeah. Or no, in the week maybe. I think
Barnsley. They're hinting at. Yeah.
Lowry's back in training apparently as well. So
it is interesting though that he plays Bishop as the 10 rather than Yengi. I mean, I suppose. I mean, I spent the first half trying to work out how it had changed with Bishop not being the focal front man, and what he was trying to do. Now, whether it didn't work because Yengi didn't have a great game, or whether it didn't work because Bishop is not good at that more deeper role, because I think when Mourinho tries to play those attacking midfielders, he plays 2 of them behind a front striker, so he doesn't necessarily play 3 attacking midfielders, or he hasn't done when he's had players like Lang available, because Lang's more of a striker, isn't he? Lang's more likely to go beyond Bishop and into the box, and he's done that on 2 or 3 occasions because he's scored goals. The the goal he got against Oxford away was a perfect example of that. Bishop was outside of the box. He was the one in the box who'd got the through ball, weaved around through players and stuck it in the corner.
Great
so
goal.
he could get ahead of the play, whereas the two midfielders he plays sometimes, we've seen Euro, I think he's trying to assist the wingers and the strikers getting in the box more than being the support players. So I was trying to work out what he was doing, and I don't. I suppose it's early days to say it did work, but I think Yengi had a poor game for whatever reason, and that left us struggling in the first half because we couldn't hold the ball up. There was a couple of times where he had some great, he was taking on 2 or 3 players and managed to try and wriggle through them, and so he had some great dribbles. But I would want him to do that behind the play rather than ahead of the play, because if you're making that dribble, then you've got players to pass to. If you're making a dribble on your own, you can only go towards goal and you're going to get shut down. So yeah, I would reverse it. I'd play Yengi as the 10 and Colby as the striker. But it'd be interesting to see if he tries that again and which way round he does it.
Of course, last time we played Bolton, it was Yengi, wasn't it, who was the star of the show?
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, what a battle that was with that centre half.
Santos guy, yeah.
Yeah, Santos. Yeah, he's an absolute man mountain, isn't he? It's a shame he's not banned. He was banned for a little while, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But we'll see. It's keeping the goals out that we want to worry about on Saturday, I think, more than anything else. But Shrewsbury was comfortable for me. I know they got the equaliser, but we were very timid in that first half. Got an early goal through an own goal, and then didn't really create that much after that, and gave away a silly equaliser. So I thought we would come out all guns blazing second half and stretched our legs and got away, like you say, Tim, with that great through ball. So as you said, Sadie made the big difference when he took Yengi off after an hour, put Colby Bishop back up front and Sadie in that hole, that support striker role again. That's when we really dominated them and easily got the third and we're never under pressure after that.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. I think I was just really interested to see what we're going to do now. I think every week there's hardly ever the same team sort of twice, is there? There's always something that you go like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Let's going to see how it's going to work. So kind of can't wait to get to Saturday and see what the team's going to be and how we're going to approach the game, really.
Well, we've got that variable squad. I mean, you just mentioned two players coming back. I mean, we've got so many players. Like I joked a couple of weeks ago that if we could play 15, that'd be best, wouldn't it? But we can't. We can only play 11. So where does Lowry play? I don't think he does. He even get on the bench? Lang would probably get on the bench.
Yeah.
Where's Per Harris? He's not. He wouldn't be on the bench either. So, and of course, Angerin came back out of nowhere and now is not even not even on the bench again. So it's he's got so many players to choose from and so many options. He can look at a plan for the game and go, right, okay, I don't have to worry about which players I'm fitting where because I've got plenty of choice. So here's the plan I'm going to do, and that player plays in there and so on. Let's talk about last night first before we go on to Saturday. So Derby played away at Wycombe. And I expected them to win, even though obviously, Jamie, you said before that Wycombe were on a good run, but then we beat them 3-1 at home. So that was that idea out the window, and that was that possible trip up avoided. But
before we beat Wycombe, they were the second club in form for the last 10 games. They were flying.
After Lincoln, probably.
Yeah, it was.
But they did us a favour last night, and I think Derby really struggled. If you look at the stats of the game, I was following the game on text on BBC Online because I was working last night, and at half time, Wycombe actually had 5 shots to Derby's 2. So clearly, Wycombe were not just in the game, but they were looking to win it. So
it was Wycombe's second cup final of the week. That's the way I saw it. They'd had their they'd had the wind knocked out of them with the Peterborough game, and this was their chance, to prove it against the big boys. And they did. They played really well. And for me, Derby just completely lacked ideas. They had a go, but Wycombe were just fantastic, and I was cheering them on all night. It was good.
Yeah.
So with that point, that leaves. So the table now reads Portsmouth at the top, played 42, 90 points. Derby second, 43, 83 points. Bolton 42, 81 points. And Peterborough, it was still lurking there for a second place. You know, they're not going to catch us, but they could certainly get second place on 41 games and 77. So if they win their game in hand on Bolton, they're only 1 point behind. And if they win the 2 games in hand against Derby, then they are equal. So there's 1 from 3 there for second place, because obviously I don't think there's any way that we're going to slip up now. So with that result last night, Saturday gives us the opportunity, rather amazingly, excitingly, to, if we beat Bolton, we win the title and get promoted with 3 games to go, which... Well, I must admit, when I did my predictions, I thought it was going to be an awful lot closer. I thought Barnsley were going to take us pretty much. So I thought we were going to get promoted by 43 games, but I thought the title would be a lot closer. Barnsley, I thought, were the one that would chase us, and they've fallen away. They've lost 3 out of their last 5. Peterborough have lost 2 out of their last 5. Bolton and Derby lost 1 out of their last 5, and we've just kept winning, draw, win, draw, win, draw. So, I mean, you know. This could be this has been an amazing season. Only lost 4 games all season, which is going to be a club record if we maintain that. And part of me selfishly wishes we only get a point on Saturday and we can win it home at the home game on Derby next week. Against Barnsley next week. And then me and my son can run on the pitch, which I've promised him all season. What a brilliant season! It's not over yet, but. Do you think we'll do it on Saturday? Do you think we'll win?
Oh God, I hope so. I mean, as much as I get where you're coming from, it'd be great to kind of actually seal it under the lights on Tuesday against Barnsley. I'd be quite happy to go into that already promoted as champions. I really would, as I'm sure many other fans would as well. I think whether we could win up there, I mean, I'm not saying we can't. Absolutely, the way this team's performed all season, absolutely no reason why we can't go up there. And Bolton are going to be absolutely going for it. I'd expect a bit more from them than possibly Derby gave us. Won't be playing in the same conditions. They're at home and everything. But equally, the amount of times that Pompey have managed to come through the toughest of tests and end up with 3 points. I mean, even if it's a single point, it's still going to be a fantastic achievement and put us in an incredible position for Tuesday night. So, I suppose you can almost go, even if we lose it, it's not the end of the world, and what a position to be in with 4 games to go. But yeah, I'm just not thinking like that. I don't seem to be watching Pompey expecting us to lose at the moment, which is a feeling that I haven't very often had over 30 odd years of watching them, really. So yeah, amazing.
I want the win. I want the win this weekend. I know that. Yeah, it would be great if we could win the league after Barnsley, but the pub's only open for 30 minutes after that. After an evening game. So then the next option is the Wigan game. That would be great. I do not want to leave it that long. I want the title under our belts. Yeah, and I want to, can you imagine the atmosphere for Barnsley and Wigan if we'd already won the league by then? It's just going to be fantastic. And I'm going to get drunk anyway. So yeah, bring it on. That's what I say. Come on, up the blues.
Well, I won't be getting drunk because it's my son's 8th birthday, so I'm going to be looking after him. But we're going to have some pretend champagne on ice, ready for when he comes back from his trip to Legoland. Bless him.
Nice.
When he gets dropped off after whatever happens in the afternoon. So me and my partner will be sitting there on the sofa watching it. It would be great just to get it done. But I mean, what an atmosphere it's going to be on Tuesday if we get a draw. If we just need a draw or a win. I mean, a draw against Bolton just means we need 1 more point, and we've got both. We've got both the title and the and promotion as well. So like you say, Tim, Bolton will be really going for it because they can feel Peterborough breathing down their neck. And they realise that Derby have slipped up, obviously, last night. So a win would put them in second by 1 point. So it's not as if, that they want to do it cautiously either. They have to win because, if they want their automatic promotion, they have to keep winning games. So they haven't got that point buffer at the top like we have. So
It could
it's
really
going to be
go either way,
amazing.
couldn't it? It could go either way. It's such an exciting game. I absolutely can't wait for it. I mean, I say Bolton are going to surely come at us, but then sometimes when we're playing the better teams in the league and they're coming at us, we do an absolutely brilliant job defending. And Raggett and Shaughnessy and Norris have done an amazing job of keeping the goals out. And then when we go flying forward with our wingers, Kamara and Lane, and it's just it's set up to be a cracking 0-0 draw. After I've said that.
I don't see us losing. I don't see us losing. I think it's a case of we either draw or we win. I don't see
put
us
a
losing.
bet on a 0-0 draw now. Now you've said
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
That's fine. 0-0 draw suit us down to the ground, and then we go on to next Tuesday. So we're just. I mean, I think we'll have a great episode. I think in a few weeks' time covering the season. So we'll all have to bring our highlights to the table and discuss them, whether that be goals, whether that be moments, whether that be players, whatever. But I think one person I wanted to really concentrate on today is Marlon Pack, and if he is the Pompey boy who lifts the trophy, then that will be an amazing sort of personal redemption for him coming back to Portsmouth a couple of years ago after quite a few years away. He left in 2011 and didn't return until 2022. I mean, I can't imagine how he feels. He obviously loves the club and took the first opportunity to come back when he did, and obviously credit to the Cowleys for bringing him back as well. They obviously saw that they needed a leader in midfield. I don't think he ever played as well for the Cowleys as he has done this season. I think he's been absolutely outstanding this season. More not just for his personal play, but I think for his leadership of the team and the fact that he marshals the team and he's constantly moving players about and telling players how the team needs to move the ball about and reminding players of what their responsibilities are and what they're supposed to be doing in their particular part of the pitch. So he's just been Captain Marvel this season, and I don't think I've seen a central midfielder play like him for a very, very long time. So I just wanted to name check him and recognise what a wonderful turnaround it's been for him. He had a great career, obviously at Bristol and Cardiff, played plenty of times in the Championship, but I don't think there'd be any doubt that this would be the best moment of his career this season, if to lift that title.
It's just really nice to have someone from the local area representing the club. And you say the Cowleys brought him in. I'm pretty sure he brought himself in. He contacted them and say, I want to play for Portsmouth Football Club, and that's why he's here. And look what he's done for us. Yeah, absolute hero. In the very slim up to unlikely chance that he ever listens to this podcast, well, fucking done, mate.
Well, I'm hoping to get him on in the summer, so you never know. He might listen to some the previous ones
to that one
to find out. Yeah, just that moment. I will direct him to that moment, Jamie, and say you need to listen to 31st minute of podcast 7, please, and you'll find out why. So you never know. He might listen to some previous ones to find out what he's letting himself in for. But yeah, so if we recap, he was he came in as a first-year scholar to 2007, played for the reserves for a while, and then had a couple of loans out to Wycombe Wanderers at the end of 2 decades ago. And then Dagenham and Redbridge. I forgot he went to Dagenham and Redbridge. But yeah, went there just for 94 days. But there we go. And then had a long-term loan at Cheltenham Town and ended up signing for them.
Cottrell.
Cottrell. So did Cottrell take him to Cheltenham or
no? Cottrell
he
let him go.
Oh yeah,
along with Matt Ritchie.
Yeah. Well, Cottrell has been at Cheltenham, hasn't he, in the past?
Cheers, Steve.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he had any choice. We didn't have any money, so.
Well,
yeah. It was. We were still hanging on to our Premiership millions at that point, and it was kind of around the same sort of time that everything was going to go pear-shaped. So I think we had to get rid of some players in order to bring in some money to pay a gas bill or something. The old story, it might have been a tax bill, gas bill, whatever. But whoever was owning the club at the time clearly didn't want to put their hand in their pocket, so we had to sell some players in order to pay off some bills. But yeah, he's had 6 years at Bristol City and then 3 years at Cardiff in the Championship, and well respected at both. I think both, especially at Bristol, he was. I'm not sure if he was club captain at Bristol, but they certainly loved him up there. And so 300 odd appearances at Championship level. So I think after he's 33 now. Has he got another couple of seasons in him at Championship level? Do you think?
I think so. Yeah. Why not? Why not? I don't think I can't think of a single player. A single regularly playing player that I would let go. I think all of them deserve a slot in the championship, especially Pack. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think Scott, as you said earlier, he's an absolute leader out there, isn't he? The way he sort of orchestrates what's going on, and to carry on with the phrase of orchestrates, I'd sort of suggest he's a little bit like a conductor when he's sort of in that defensive midfield position, pinging diagonal balls out to the wing and instructing people where to go. I could totally see him playing lots of games next season in the Championship and doing well.
And when he is too old, I want to give him. I'd like to see him as a coach. I think he's got that. He's got a footballing brain, and I think if he could, if when his legs give up on him and he doesn't want to play anymore, or if he's willing to stay with Portsmouth rather than go, carry on playing and go down lower leagues as older players tend to do, then I'd love to see him kept on as a coach. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I think that's the kind of club that we probably are at the moment. He would be a coach at some level, maybe in the academy or maybe for the reserves or whatever. But yeah, I don't see why not. Now he's back to the area. Why would he want to move away? It's a no-brainer, I think, to keep him on. But I think he can. I think he can play in that role in the Championship because although he does cover a lot of ground, it's more his range of passing that's impressive. He's got that Gerrard 60-yard diagonal ball, hasn't he?
Yeah.
In his locker, which we've utilised quite a lot in this team, and usually, from right to left, it's going to Ogilvie, and if it's from left to right, it's usually going to Kamara, isn't it? So it's very much a tactic that we've used quite a lot. If we can't drive through midfield or get the ball wide any other way. So yeah, I've got the utmost respect for him, and he's been one of the best players. Whether he'll win Player of the Season, I don't know. My money personally is still on Shaughnessy for his contribution at the back and the fact that we've conceded so few goals and not. He's also contributed, not recently, but early on in the season, a few goals as well. I don't know. What's your current Player of the Season barometer, guys? Who's moving up and down the charts at the moment?
Pack for me is Pack, and I might even go for Raggett. Yeah, I think both of those. Yeah. I mean, maybe I'm emotional rather than technical there, but yeah, I think both of those boys have just put big smiles on my face this season. So, that would be my two.
Yeah.
We've had some brilliant individual performances from so many players. I think Pack's going to win it personally as well, but I'd be happy with any of the players that you've mentioned, plus probably several others that you could throw into the hat as well.
Yeah, Lane Kamara as well, mate. Yeah, Colby obviously.
Bishop's got 20 goals,
Yeah, no, it's weird, isn't it? So he's got his second season in a row scoring 20 goals, and we're not even talking about him as Player of the Season. That's how good this team is. Really, it's amazing. So no, I don't think I'm going to change my mind. Whether I'm right or wrong, Shaughnessy for me, I think has impressed me all season. Pack more latterly. I think he's really grown into it this season, and I think when after our dodgy bit over Christmas where we really struggled, I think since then he's just pulled everything together, and you can see that he's the manager's voice on the pitch, and he understands what the team and what the management team are trying to do on the pitch, and draws that all together, which is what you need. I think Jeff said that before, didn't he? I think Jeff said that you need someone on the pitch who's going to be understanding totally what the team are supposed to be doing, and keep reminding people on the pitch every minute of the game that this is your job, this is your responsibility.
Yeah, I think that's going to win in the Player of the Year as well.
Yeah,
exactly that.
You're probably right. So, guys, any other business we can wrap up with? Anything to think of? It's probably going to be a shorter one this week because we've. I think we're all just waiting for promotion, aren't we?
I just can't wait for Saturday. I can't think of anything beyond Saturday afternoon at the moment. And just going to be watching all the any little clips we've got of interviews with players, John Massinho, anybody beforehand, reading any articles about it, and just soaking it all in while we're this enjoyable,
I know. You know what John's going to do. He's just going to play a straight bat. He's not going to say. He's just going to say,
No.
we're not going to. We're not counting anything. We just need to get through the next game, etc., etc., etc. He's going to do the same.
Quite right.
He's just going to say the same. So it'd be interesting to see when we finally achieve it. What kind of personality he brings out? He might turn into an utter lunatic and start dancing all over the stage at the on the Common. Who knows?
Gareth Evans or something.
Yeah, he might suddenly explode, and there's this personality that we haven't seen, for the 18 months he's been with us, just suddenly come out. Who knows? Perhaps not. Perhaps he'll just be quietly confident that he, he's done his job and already planning and looking for next season, like we said earlier.
Yeah, exactly. And hope England don't nick him after we fail with Southgate at the Euros this
summer.
summer.
He's the obvious choice, isn't he?
Not Man United, then. You don't think he's going to go to Man United instead of Ten Hag?
It's a downgrade, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, possibly. Yeah, who would want to go there, really? Right. Thank you, guys. It's been a pleasure again this evening.
Cheers.
I'll pop this up tomorrow at some point. So, play up Pompey. Let's hope we have a great weekend, and we'll see you on the Common.
Much love.
Cheers. Back. If you can stay on for a little bit.